This is the plaintiff, Umberto Echevarria. He says the defendant hooked him up with a shady insurance broker when he was interested in buying a car from his dealership, and now he's out a whole heap of money. The insurance broker lied about where he lived, quoted him a cheap price, and in the end, he was dropped. Now he wants the defendant to return the $900 he stole from him. The guy refuses, so he's suing. This is the defendant, Marvin. He says he sold the plaintiff a car and referred him to an insurance broker. When he left the dealership, he had insurance. Otherwise, he wouldn't have been able to get the financing he needed to buy the car. Then, a few weeks later, he has some sort of problem keeping the insurance and is blaming him? Nice try. He's accused of being unsure about insurance.
All parties, please raise your right hands.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case on the docket, the plaintiff says the defendant hooked him up with a shady insurance broker, and he wants the defendant to pay what he's out. But the defendant says he sells cars, not insurance. It's the case of you're not in good hands.
Thank you, Douglas.
You're welcome, ma'am.
Umberto Echevarria, you are suing Marvin. You've asked to be referred to only by your first name, correct?
Yes.
For $900 that, according to you, you paid him for insurance and then you didn't get it. What happened?
Well, on September 14th of last year, I purchased a vehicle from the establishment he worked at.
What kind of vehicle?
It was a 2013 Lexus GS 350 all-wheel drive.
Okay.
And during the process, the finance processing, you know, I was trading in a couple of vehicles, so my car note was going to jump substantially from almost doubled. So when I called...
Wait, but if you're trading in a couple of vehicles, your car note should be smaller. I guess you were buying a car that you couldn't... was kind of hard to afford? You like your top end of... Oh, okay.
We could say, you know, if everybody works hard, you deserve to treat yourself.
I got to remember that.
So basically, I called my insurance at the time, which was my agent locally. They quoted me from the price difference what I was paying at from $500 for another vehicle, and my current vehicle at the time, my insurance would jump to $700. So, you know, it's now the car note jumped and the insurance jumped.
$700 a month? How many accidents have you had? Tickets?
I have a nice background in street racing, so that adds up to it.
Do you have a conviction?
No, just a couple points. Nothing crazy.
Well,
but
street racing. That's they feel like you're going to crash.
I did my fair share of troublemaking in my younger days, and I'm paying for it now.
Oh, you are for the rest of your life. I mean, I'd like to think there's a day when they look back and say, "Well, that was so long ago," but probably not.
I would too, but
so go ahead. $700 a month.
I paid $700 for.
Wouldn't it be cheaper for you to rent a car and then buy? No, because they'll probably reject you for the insurance. All right. Anyway, go ahead. I'm sorry.
So pretty much, he recommended me to someone named Kendra who had her broker license, and she told me she could get me a better rate.
How did he recommend you? What does that mean?
He said he can get her on the phone and get a quote. And
did he get her on the phone?
Yes, he did. He spoke to her.
So he gives you the phone, and you speak to Kendra, and what does Kendra...
He spoke to her and everything.
Okay, and what did Kendra say?
She gave him... He came back, he told me I can get you a rate of $500 a month.
For both cars?
For both cars.
What's the other car?
My Dodge Ram 3500.
Which was home?
Yes.
Has nothing to do with the transaction?
No.
All right, so he tells you that. Can I see the paperwork on that?
I don't have any.
All right. So then what happens? Why don't you have it?
You know, I gave him the down payment for the car. I didn't think, you know, I gave him a $10,000 down payment for a car. I didn't think $1,000 he was going to do anything with $900.
No, but are you suggesting there was no paperwork for the insurance?
I have a record of Geico because when I gave him the $900, the $400 was supposed to be a broker fee, and the rate was $500 monthly. So he told me $400 goes for the broker and $500 gets is for the first month down. I said that's no problem. And
what ended up happening?
When I called the following month, I see an extra $500 in my account. You know, who's not gonna get happy? An extra $500, but something's wrong. So I called up Geico and I'm like, yeah, what's going on? Why hasn't my money been withdrawn? They said they were dropping me because what happened was when they opened my policy, it was rated in a different county, which it's cheaper than the county I reside in. So now they said
Wait, how did they rate you in a different county?
I didn't do any of the paperwork. Whoever did the paperwork is what they did.
And what address did the broker use?
Address in Shirley, which is in Suffolk County.
But do you have an address in Shirley, like a friend or something?
I don't have any family in Shirley.
No friends?
No friends.
So the Shirley thing was complete fabrication on the part of Kendra to get a...
Yes.
What's up with that?
Agent came into my office to offer for us to give them business. So they dropped off business cards. I have a couple of business cards from different brokers. So we got
Do you
quotes.
get a cut when you refer them?
No,
Well, of course you do.
no. I
You
don't
think
get a
I'm
cut.
stupid? I saw the text where you said you get a cut if you refer him.
I didn't get a cut.
No, but do you know that I saw your? Is that from him or no?
No, that's from some other person. When I tried to contact Kendra, she wouldn't ignore my calls. So, I left
She would or she wouldn't
She
ignore?
would not. So I left
She
voice.
ignored your calls. Don't use a double negative. Go
Oh,
ahead.
I'm sorry.
All right.
I would call her, no answer. Left a voicemail, got a phone, like a text message, like a couple hours later from someone named Brandon, who he said that he spoke to Marvin and he was trying to help me out.
Who is Brandon? Another broker?
Brandon works for the same organization.
Oh,
that-
okay.
Yeah.
All right, and then who's the one who says I get that? So that's a text from Brandon.
Yes, that
Forgive
is
me.
from Brandon. Correct.
That's a text from Brandon saying I get a cut.
Correct.
All right. So when you use these people, that's just to facilitate that you can sell a car, which is what your objective is, obviously.
Correct.
All right. So he does this through Kendra. And yes, I understand he called Kendra. Yes, I understand he's on the phone. But he's a disclosed,
Right,
like,
yeah, but-
he's telling you, hey, I got this person, whatever. Why aren't you suing whatever company Kendra and Brandon work for?
Because I cannot find them. When I asked him, I want to leave him out of this.
Yeah,
when I
why
say,
didn't you give him
can
the
you give me
address?
the address?
I gave him a business card. He came to the dealership with an issue. And I couldn't find the business card the second time he came around. So then my manager, one of the managers that I work with, I asked him because the broker came to the dealership and he spread the business cards all over the dealership. So my manager gave me a copy of the business card, which you have there, a copy in front of you.
And then did you give it to him?
I did not, because at the time he was agitated and he came to the dealership.
So what?
No,
He wouldn't have sued
but
you.
I didn't have it at the time.
Why do you come to court over something that could have been resolved? If you gave him the business card, he'd have the right party here and you would be out of it.
I had already signed paperwork and all this stuff to
What does
be
that
there.
mean? Well, so you didn't bother to get the business card until you saw the whites of my eyes?
No.
Yeah, that's how it happens.
So is the car salesman responsible for the shady insurance agent?
I think it's just word of mouth if the guy recommended you.
Yeah, so what happened? He recommended him. Is he responsible because of the recommendation?
Yeah, I guess so, because, it's unprofessional.
Well, in the United States, it may be different. Going inside the courtroom.
This is your customer. Your customer
Right.
got, what's the word I'm looking for? Nailed, all right, by, what it sounds like, because you heard that they said 500 for both cars, right?
That's correct.
And then there's a series of texts back and forth, and they tell him, it'll be 900. It'll be 600. He goes, no. For one car? No, I need both cars. Then it'll be 800. Then it'll be 9. What happened? He needed their name to sue them and keep you out of it. And you didn't bother to give them a name of somebody who you do business with.
I gave him the business card. He misplaced it.
Did that happen?
He sent it to me in a text message like a month after this whole happened when I first noticed it. But the line of work I do, I go through phones left and right. So
why? What do you do? Are you a drug dealer?
No.
Okay, so what do you do? Why are you
I
burning
do
phones?
construction. I own a construction company. So things are. My phone right now is cracked in a million pieces, but I didn't want to get a new one because it has all the
That's probably
relevant
going to be the
information.
next excuse my daughter gives me. I work for a construction company. I keep dropping my phone. What does that have to do with breaking your phone?
I go through phones like left and right.
Why don't you put a good cover on it and keep it in your pocket? All right. Yeah, you're both slackjaws. You're a slackjaw for losing the information that was critical to you, and then you probably would have saved yourself a lawsuit, although I'm sure you're thrilled to be here today and meet me in person.
I've seen it before.
Anyway, you could have saved yourself a lawsuit by just, hustling and How did you get it again?
I've had it. I had it from my manager.
Well, then why didn't you give it to him when he said I need it again?
Well, my manager had it. And
Yeah,
I didn't realize
wait a
he
minute,
had
let
it.
me see how that works. They papered the whole place. All you had to do was get up and walk over and say, do you have those people's card? Yeah, it's right here. I mean, all right, great. So here's their information. You spoke with them on the phone and they said 600 for both cars.
Pretty much when Brandon was actually willing to help me out, he was helping me. He said, listen, I can't do this raid. I can do this, and this. And I had an insurance lap because he couldn't work on it fast enough. So I gave him like a week and a half notice, and I faced the insurance lap for 3 days. He wouldn't come up with anything, so I had to go out and get insurance on my own.
How much you paying?
Huh?
How much you paying?
Now I'm paying $500.
For both cars? Mm-hmm. Oh, good for you.
Yeah.
What
I
did
actually
you do?
got a better rate not
Lie
going
and
through a
say
broker.
that you were in another county?
Huh? No, not in another county.
All right, well then what you want is your 900 back.
Mm-hmm, correct.
And you should get your 900 back. You just can't get it from him.
Okay.
Although I understand why you brought him to court today. Here is the information of who you need to sue. I'd love to see you back here on this. But in terms of the case in front of me here today, my verdict in this case is for Marvin. Okay? That's my judgment. Good luck, folks.
He gets no money, but he gets a name and address and a phone number of a party that he should sue. How do you feel about this?
I feel God.
I mean, you could have settled it. It could have been settled much easier.
Yeah,
you know
they definitely could have. You know, it's a little bit of money. We're all grown people here. Yeah. This is a waste of time. I'm missing out on work. I'm losing more than what I'm suing for. Well, it's not even worth it for being
right.
here.
And your insurance rates, gee whiz. You're paying $6,000 more a year in insurance.
It costs to be the boss. What are you going to do?
Oh, my gosh. All right. I feel sorry for you. Thank you very much. Okay. Here comes Marvin, the defendant. All right, Marvin, you could have avoided coming to court altogether, too, although the judge thinks maybe you wanted to see her.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, anyway. You okay with this?
I'm all right.
You learned something from all this?
I did.
Good for you. Okay. Walk next door, talk to the manager next time.
Sounds good.
All right. Harvey?
So look, a recommendation is not a warranty. The car salesman is not on the hook.